When buying a car, people tend to put a lot of weight on objective measures like specs, but I think spec sheets alone don't make a car. Sometimes a car can leave an impression on you that you can't put your finger on. If like me you see cars as more than just a means of transportation, I think it's important to get a car that leaves a strong impression on you. Something that you would always want to look at and say, that's my car. In this video, we'll round up the cars that I drove the past year that left a strong impression on me. Cars that made me want to own them. Cars that didn't just tick objective boxes, but those that offered more than the sum of their parts. Of course, specs are going to matter, but we're going to consider more than just that. We're going to take into account the overall appeal of the car. Since the point of this video is to round up cars that left a strong impression on me, I'll only be including lend-outs or cars that I spent at least 4 days with. So I'm not going to be including cars that I only saw at the showroom and test drove for a couple of hours. Every car on this list is a car that I got to live with for at least a couple of days. Nissan Terra. The Terra is one of those vehicles that you had to spend time with to fully appreciate. First time I drove it, I thought, nothing special, feels like a boat. But when I got to spend time with it, I got to appreciate it a bit more. If you accept the fact that it feels like a boat to drive, it really is one of the most comfortable PPVs in the segment, if not the most comfortable. The engine and transmission feel smooth and responsive, almost buttery smooth compared to other PPVs. I also think that it looks pretty good. Like some of you have said, it looks like a politician's car. The Subaru XV was my first Subaru land-out. When I borrowed it from Subaru, they said that I could take it off-road. And honestly, at first, I was apprehensive. And it wasn't just me. The tricycle drivers in the area seemed to be concerned as well. Told me not to proceed. It didn't take me too long to see why they were concerned. Even pickups and SUVs were getting stuck. So this trail is a lot less difficult now, but back then it was covered in deep mud, and you really had to either have a good traction control system or a differential lock to put power evenly to the ground. And no matter what I did, I could never get the XV stuck in the mud. I tried driving it over really thick mud and it never got stuck even for a second. It really was an impressive sight to see, and it made me a believer of Subaru's all-wheel drive system. It also handles well on paved roads, and Subaru's EyeSight is one of the best driver assist packages in the market. Overall, if you want the off-road capability of a 4x4 SUV, the handling of a sedan, and the size of a crossover, this is the perfect vehicle for you. Suzuki MUX. I named the MUX my best PPV of 2021. It's just a very well-balanced vehicle. The ride is good. Not as good as the Terra, but also not as boaty. It's loaded with the driver assist features. I found myself missing its adaptive cruise control after I returned it. Unlike other PPVs in the segment, it works at any speed, and it was definitely very helpful in stop-and-go traffic. Chery Arizo 5. The Arizo 5 is currently one of the few pure electric cars that you could buy in the Philippines. It's also the one that has the longest range. It's supposed to have a range of 350 to 500 kilometers. We decided to put that to the test. We drove it from QC to Asia Beach Resort in Subic and then back again. We even had a few unintended detours. All in all, the trip was about 300 kilometers, and we still had 100 kilometers of range left when we got home. The Arizo 5 sells for 1.9 million pesos, which may seem expensive, but compared to other electric cars, it is actually quite cheap. It's almost 1 million pesos cheaper than the Nissan Leaf. In the world of electric cars, this is actually very affordable. Ford Territory. I'm not usually into crossovers, but I think the Ford Territory feels special enough that I'm gonna include it in this list. I think it looks good, just the right mix of macho and classy. It looks like a much more expensive car on the outside, as well as the inside. And it has a very large, very active, and very passionate community behind it. I said that this list isn't just going to be about the spec sheet, but it is very impressive how Ford managed to pack almost every feature that you could get on a modern car in a package that sells for just 1.3 billion pesos. Kia Forte GT. It's a shame that not a lot of people know about this car. It's a proper front-wheel drive sports sedan, but it's priced about the same as most top-of-the-line compact sedans. It has a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine which produces 201 horsepower and 265 Newton meters of torque. To put that into perspective, the Toyota 86 and the Subaru BRZ only have 197 horsepower and 205 Newton meters of torque. The throttle pedal quickly becomes addictive as the response is instantaneous, and you also get a deep rumble from the exhaust. This one sells for 1.65 million pesos. Kia is currently offering discounts for it, so if you are interested, talk to your nearest Kia dealership. BMW 5 Series 520i. As a Eurocar enthusiast, BMW is a brand that's close to my heart. So driving this car around for a couple of days was quite a treat for me. The engine is smooth, it's powerful enough to be fun. I was able to do 0 to 100 kph in 7.7 seconds. But it's still very fuel efficient. I was able to do 20 kpl on the highway. And it may be a large sedan, but it still handles like a BMW. We took it to Tagaytay and I actually enjoyed the trip more than the destination. It's a handsome looking car. The interior feels solidly built, but this is one of those experiences that you can't quantify objectively. You just know that when you're in the car, you're in something special, and driving it feels like an occasion. BMW will be launching the facelifted 5 Series soon in the Philippines, and hopefully we'll get to review that on our channel. Nissan 370Z Nismo. Being with a 370Z Nismo felt like being with a superhero. It has such a recognizable and iconic look to it. This is the kind of car that car enthusiasts would have posters or diecast models of. It's not a car for everyone, definitely. It's very low, the interior looks a bit dated. It's only a 2-seater. You don't get a lot of storage space, and you don't get a lot of modern driver aids. What it is though is a purpose-built car. It may lack modern amenities, but it does what it's designed to do really well. After I returned the car, I started looking for used 350Zs in the market. I didn't buy one, but it came pretty close to convincing me that I needed one in my life, even if it's the previous generation. Kia Stinger. You don't need to see the spec sheet of this car to know that it's special, especially in this red color. It looks like a proper sports sedan, and it has the muscle to back up its looks. It has a turbocharged V6 that produces 380 horsepower. It is rear-wheel drive, and it has a limited slip differential. Put all of that together and you have a car that's a lot of fun to drive, and also very tail-happy. It's also luxurious, it is relatively comfortable, and it's practical. If you want a sports car that can also double as a family car, this might be the right one for you. Ford Ranger FX4 Max. Like I often say in my reviews, it is not the jack of all trades that stand out, it is the masters of a few. The Ford Ranger FX4 Max is one such vehicle. It's not a jack of all trades, it is designed to excel at one thing. In the Philippines, if you want an off-road capable pickup, your two best choices are the Ranger Raptor and the Ranger FX4 Max. While the Ranger Raptor is priced beyond the reach of most car buyers, the FX4 Max is a bit more attainable. It's not the most feature-packed pickup in the segment, but almost all of the features are designed to improve your off-road performance. It has Fox shocks on all four corners. You get 2 inches more ground clearance than the regular Rangers. You get 32-inch all-terrain tires, which are the second biggest tires in the market, next to the Ranger Raptor. You get a more powerful alternator to power accessories like floodlights and winches. It also has a locking rear differential, which is essential when doing hardcore off-roading. And it looks the part. Even without knowing the features, you can tell that it's a badass off-roader. Spending time with the FX4 Max made me realize that off-roading is something that I can enjoy doing. And I think if you try off-roading with the FX4 Max, it will convert you as well. If you live in the Philippines, even if you live in the city, you don't have to go very far to test the capabilities of your truck. Like I said in my review, we have so many beautiful places here in the Philippines. Sometimes you just need the right equipment to get to them. The FX4 Max sells for 1.7 million, but Ford is offering discounts for it, so you can probably get it for less than 1.7 now. If we have a family already, sometimes needs take precedence over wants when it comes to cars. But I think it doesn't always have to be one or the other. I think it's possible to find a good balance. They say if you don't look at a car after you park it, you bought the wrong car. I say if you find yourself losing huge chunks of time daydreaming about a car, if you find yourself Googling photos of one car more than others, if every time you see that car in the parking lot, you find yourself staring, you may be looking at the right car.